Hey guys, hope you're okay. Here with FC Wonderkid, episode 8. Here with my guy Brennan. How are you?
Huh. How am I? How am I? That's a tough thing to say. I'm much better now. Much better than what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, it was tough to watch the Ericsson situation
Yeah.
because I'm sure that's what you're referring to.
Yeah,
Um,
that's about the only thing I could think about, and still dominates both our minds because you and I have been back and forth about everything surrounding it, and that's just it's one of those things where you just you're just so happy that it ended. Well, he's not fully out of the woods yet. We want to make sure that yeah, he's getting testing, he's getting everything like that, but it obviously ended with him coming off, and there's that one picture of him, you know, looking at everybody, well, not looking at everybody, but
yeah,
essentially he was okay, and conscious, and he was able to talk to his teammates, and we're just happy to hear that. But man, that was an event that I think, for all of us, we'll be talking about for years and years and years to come. And there's so many there's so many mistakes that are made in situations like that when you're covering something like that.
hmm
It it just yeah, I'm just so happy he's all right now. And so many amazing moments during that, in such a harrowing time, right?
yeah,
Like the power of Simone Kerr, to essentially just take the situation, realize he can only control what he can control, which was his teammates, which was providing support. Um,
oh yeah,
he was just a rock, as he has been, as we've seen as a footballer, but also as a person, and then Casper Schmeichel too. But there were just scenes there that we just shouldn't have witnessed. We shouldn't have. Um, but I don't know.
I love that you're highlighting. I wanted to highlight that too. How the team showed incredible spirit and a manifestation of how we should react to that situation, not as players but as humans.
Mhm.
Because what we were seeing was, to be honest, we were watching someone die live,
Yeah,
and it's quite. I was quite shocked how everything was being shown, but I like to highlight too, and you said it, how the captains of Denmark reacted. Schmeichel speaking to, we shouldn't have seen him speaking to his wife, but seeing that he did it,
yeah,
you can see that he was really on top of the situation, and I'm sure that Ericsson he's proud of how his teammates reacted
yeah,
because it
man.
was it was fantastic
And
to
in that
see how they
wall,
reacted.
and in that wall that they built, oof, it was Kyer and Schmeichel that were both inward, looking at him, watching, hoping for the best. And
True, and we know we got to know that afterwards Ericsson told his teammates to play the match,
mm,
which it's quite heroic if you ask me. But
mhm.
should they have played it? Because Finland won it, and it's an upset. To be honest, I think this is the biggest upset until now. Finland winning it,
Yeah,
and I wouldn't have played the match. I think it was too much of a shock, and I don't think it was fair. But schedules, timelines, especially now with COVID, UEFA really wants to make a match happen if all the fans are already there.
yeah.
So,
And let's be honest. It would have gone down a whole lot differently if things had gone southward, and there wasn't progress on the front of, there was the UEFA statement, then there was the Danish Federation's confirmation that he was awake. I mean, it surprised the crap out of me when I
mhm.
got that push notification that 2:30 start time. It's coming back on, and half of me, three-quarters of me was absolutely pissed off. But it should have never. I mean,
Well, it happened, man. It happened. We need to deal with it, but other matches happen too. So let's focus on the bright side. Ericsson's alive, and so do you have any thoughts? I'd like to say I'm pretty surprised at how solid Italy looked.
yeah.
They looked really good. I think Italy not having a start, they'd have Immobile, but he's
Mhm.
not that Baggio, Pirlo, that superstar conducting the offense. They don't have it. like the star of Italy is the group. It's not any individual. It's the group.
Right.
Spinazzola,
Yeah.
fantastic performance from
Hmm.
Spinazzola. Barella, all over the place. Jorginho, you couldn't take the ball off Jorginho. That's what he's really good. You know, the offensive passes, yeah, he lacks a bit,
Right.
creativity wise, but with having the security and a teammate to always pass as an option, Jorginho's fantastic.
And we're not even talking about the absence of Verratti. I mean, you add that to the bunch. I don't know who the odd man out is, right?
But
And
Locatelli was there, right?
Locatelli was there, and he was solid. I mean, they did exactly what they needed to do. But you highlighted Immobile to begin with before the game. I said Insigne would also have an impact,
He
and
did.
they both did. And yeah, I mean, they're very much kind of stepping their way from dark horse to outside favorite. Wait, that's probably the same thing. Uh,
But
but
I was surprised that Chiesa didn't start.
yes,
He
yeah,
put Berardi, and I think next match he should change that
yeah,
because Chiesa Berardi was a little bit here and there.
yeah.
I don't think he was the right choice. So let's see. It's to
Yeah.
look
Well,
forward
one
to.
one thing I gotta say, this Turkish team, obviously, you had people on either end of the fence with them about what they could do at this tournament. This is obviously going to put a lot of that into question, um, but they've got to inject. Not that this in our eyes, injecting a little youth into things tends to do really well or push them to do a little bit better. I mean, right now you had Demiral. Demiral, unfortunately, was the own goal culprit. But aside from that, I mean, you had the Lille spine of Yilmaz and Yaziki and Celik, but there was really nothing inspiring coming from that. And you've got guys like Orkun Koksu, I probably pronounced that terribly, Sengiz Under, and Halil. I'm not even going to try that last name, but you have some of these young guys that really should have been brought on maybe a little bit sooner
I
than
agree.
they were to provide a spark. Now, I believe Under did come in right after halftime, but I do hope the Turkish team bounces back, and we do know that with this type of a competition, one loss does not kill you. It just
It
doesn't.
doesn't.
Now, losing 3-zip, that does hurt because goal difference does mean a whole lot moving forward. But I hope they do bounce back and get a little younger moving forward. Um,
Well, yeah, I think you got it right. And a player like Yilmaz, he age isn't helping, and having the youth around, getting those balls, passing him at the right place at the right time, he'll
yeah,
score goals.
yeah,
And I felt during the game it was very heavy on him, like
yeah,
pressing on the center backs. Italy used their cards extremely well, in my
sure.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Next topic. I think we got an interesting one here for everyone who likes to remember the names and have a short list of youngsters here. So we wanted to do an under 21 team of the Euros. So the best under 21 players in the Euros.
Well, first, you don't want to talk about that England Croatia game we just watched?
Oh yeah, let's go. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's
Well,
go.
let's because
We
we'll
can.
be. I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll be linking back to the yeah. Obviously, you're
Yes,
going to
we
hear some
are.
of the names we
Oh
used
yes, we
before,
are.
but
About the England game, I was surprised that Trippier was
yeah.
at left back.
Hmm.
Uh, Also, I think Mount is now a guaranteed starter for every game
I agree.
because Mount was a real threat constantly, combining a lot with Sterling.
Hmm.
That left side, that link up between Sterling and Mount was really good, and I think having Foden on the other end is always a really good threat, creative wise and
Yeah,
speed wise.
yeah,
Foden is he can be on the wing by himself. Foden,
yeah,
he's so special that he can be on the wing and he's always a threat
yeah. And
because
he
he can
showed that
cross
early
it
on.
in. Yeah,
Hmm.
can cross it in. He can shoot the ball. It went to the post.
Yep.
If he had scored that with the new haircut, people would
Yeah.
have gone wild.
Big
But
dazzle hair.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so yeah. That's what I think. Ben Chilwell should play at left back.
Okay.
I wasn't really impressed. Trippier was good, but he
Yeah.
wasn't. He wasn't. I don't get it. I don't get it,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well,
And yeah,
yeah. Well,
4-7 it
I got
worked.
to say something. I mean, Foden did kind of trail off near the end. But those early moments are pretty much he's going to grow into this tournament even more,
I
get more
agree.
comfortable. And I loved that matchup existed. Foden versus Josko Gvardiol from Croatia playing on the left there. 19-year-old RB Leipzig will be going there, and you had Phil Foden, and that that first moment or first real involvement from Phil Foden was just great. I mean, it put enough separation between them. It was slotted through. He hit it really nicely, and I honestly thought that was going to carry him off the inside of the post and in the net. But no, it took. You ready for this? You actually gave me flack for this. It took Raheem Sterling to win the game. Raheem
I
Sterling.
gave you flack because Sancho's not playing.
I know.
And I want Sancho to play. And honestly, do I think if Sancho had played, England would have won? I think it's a possibility too.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, I agree with you that Foden will grow even better.
Mhm.
But I agree. But Sterling did what he had to do. You
He
know,
did,
so
and the
he
narrative
scored
is
the
there.
goal. Yeah,
He
exactly.
was
So
born. He was born a couple minutes down the road, playing at a stadium that obviously is new. Wasn't there when he was born, right? But ultimately, he winds up scoring the game winner, match winner. Probably should have had another. And I mean, I have to say, it's bizarre to think that is his first goal at a major
mhm.
tournament. First goal at a major tournament. So I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't spell things well for Jadon Sancho moving forward. But you never know. I mean, I think there's going to be a little rotation here.
But
Um,
Foden did have a dip because Perisic was coming back defending though.
right.
Okay? That wasn't happening at the start. And they were marking two players then, and when
Mhm.
that happened, he couldn't do the shots that he was doing that led to the goal going to the post.
Yeah. And
So
do you think this English defensive spine, as depleted as it seemingly is, you think it's good enough to win this championship, win
I
this
think
title?
I think that it was good enough to beat Croatia right now, but
Okay.
against France, I think Benzema is gonna make Mings regret being there. I can say that. That's a bold statement, but I think he impressed me. He impressed me in this match, Tyron Mings, but I don't think it's enough. But Walker at right back, solid player. Even Pick, there was a moment there where Walker just saved the ball and Pickford looked at him and he was like, it must be amazing to have defenders like this on your team. You know, that's the feeling I had.
Yeah. Well, it was a
And
first
Jude
match.
Bellingham, Jude
And Jude
Bellingham.
Bellingham. Yeah,
That's what you wanted to lead up, right? To the
I
new
did.
topic.
Come on, youngest footballer ever,
Yeah,
youngest icon ever
Jude
in Euros.
Jude Bellingham became the youngest player to play in the Euros.
And
And
some
did you
of
see what
our
Mourinho said about him? Did you see what Mourinho said about Jude
no,
Bellingham?
what do you say?
He said Jude Bellingham should start right
Ooh,
now for England. He
over
is
who?
that special. Oh yeah,
Over
he
who?
should start.
I love
He wouldn't have played Calvin. I don't know. I don't think he would have played. I'm not sure though, but I saw the clip on Talksport just
Yeah,
to give a mention where,
yeah.
and he said that Jude Bellingham, he's special.
You want
So
that
Jude,
Jose retweet? Yeah, you do.
so Jude Bellingham said that no, Jude Bellingham has received huge compliments of Mourinho and Pep Guardiola, and he's 17.
Yeah,
I think he'll have another season at Dortmund, and I don't know. It'll be hard to keep him there. It'll
yeah.
be
I
hard to
think.
keep him there. And I'll just say it, he's in my under 21 team of the tournament. Okay?
Well, shocker, because he's in mine as well. He's in mine as well. But you have to, you do have to applaud him. I mean, the kid plays the kid plays with a cool head on his shoulders. At 17 years old, he's obviously playing well advanced in years. You don't just throw a 17-year-old on the field. But as we said at the beginning of this, right? Bellingham makes the roster. If a Kasper Kozlowski from Poland makes the roster, they're not bringing them just to, say, oh, you're going to have a wonderful experience here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're bringing them because they do something different, right?
Oh,
And they
they'll have an
provide
impact.
something. And the funny thing is tomorrow, if Kasper Kozlowski's in that starting 11, bye record for Jude Bellingham. Bye record, not
But
that Jude went into this saying, yeah, I want to make history being the youngest footballer, ever to play in the Euros, but man, it's pretty cool having two 17-year-olds that are gonna have an impact for their respective teams.
but it'll be a record itself having two youngsters being
Yeah.
the youngest and actually beating the record on top of it. We're just so lucky now. Talking
17
about youngsters and all this is
17
happening.
years old, man. We're
Oh,
going to be talking about them for the next 6 years. You and I are going to be old and gray by the time they even crack graduate Wonderkid status.
oh
Great.
man. So I'm gonna start with my under 21 team of the Euros. So this is the topic, guys, and I'm gonna go with a 4-2-3-1 tactic. Goalkeeper Trubin. Left back, you know who's coming. I'm gonna go bold. Nunes. Then Gvardiol. Is it Gvardiol? The way you say it? I'm
Yeah,
butchering it.
that sounded better than the way I said it. Yep.
Okay, Dinamo Zagreb, center back that's playing at left back.
Mhm.
Then I'm gonna go Delict because Delict is Delict.
Mhm.
Then Reece James, and my two midfielders, Jude Bellingham and Pedri, because if a team had Jude Bellingham and Pedri, they'd have the future secured and the present. Okay, because these two, you talked about the maturity from Jude. Pedri is mature too, and the first touch, the technique, the quality, above the rest. And then in front of Jude and Pedri, I'd have Sancho at the right, Felix in the middle, and at the left Foden. So I'd have Sancho, Felix, Foden, and then up front, Ferran Torres. I put Ferran Torres above Isaac because Ferran Torres just impressed me so much in that end stretch at Man City, and in the friendly against Portugal, he was a stud. And yeah, that's my team.
That's interesting. That's
So
interesting. And you put them up top.
Trubin, Nunes, De Ligt, Gvardiol, Reece James, then Pedri, Jude, Foden, Felix, Sancho, and up front Ferran Torres. That's my under 21 team of the season.
Okay.
There you
And
go.
that was a 4-2-3-1. All right, and that's pretty much exactly what I've got. Not personnel wise, but formation wise. And goalkeeper Trubin. Unfortunately, we just saw the lineups. Right, we're recording this on Sunday. So, lost track of time. We're recording it on Sunday, right before the Netherlands Ukraine game, and Trubin, unfortunately, as expected, is not going to be the starter. It's Boomshin, I believe. And unfortunately, that means he likely won't be the starter throughout the whole tournament. But there aren't many U21 goalkeepers in this tournament, right?
Yeah.
So Anatoly Trubin, who is one to watch, he will lead that. He will be the goalkeeper for years to come for Ukraine. Left back, I've also got Nuno Mendes. Center back, I've got De Ligt, and it does look like he'll be 100%, even though he's not starting today.
You scared me in episode 7.
I did, but he is not starting, so he's going to miss one. And I tried to pour a little, cold water on things to make sure I wasn't being an alarmist. But yeah, De Ligt is going to sit out this one, and it's a tricky matchup today for Netherlands versus Ukraine. But anyway, let me go back to the beginning. We got goalkeeper Trubin, left back Mendes, center back De Ligt, center back Zabarny.
Okay.
Right back, I have Reece James, although I really wanted to put Urian Timber there, even though he plays center back. I believe he can play on the right too. I've got on the left Phil Foden. In the center, we've got Gravenberch and Jude. Attacking mid, Pedri. Right mid, I had Ferran. You have him up top. I have him on the right. And my striker is, and this is not a best 11. Okay, I got it. This is not my best 11. It is kind of the most interesting 11 to me. Those that I really am excited about watching, and that's I got to see what Alexander Isak can do. So he's starting up top for me. to see if he can even step into one of Zlatan's footprints. One of his footprints.
We need to be excited. We need to be excited about Isaac, because Isaac right now, I think his future is a little bit doubtful. So we did see some rumors of Arsenal snatching him up.
Yeah.
So I like some mentions there, and we don't have Musiala.
No.
Eric Garcia wasn't too, and you got Gravenberch, which understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable. Fantastic.
He's not starting today, though. He's not starting today, and that's why my eyes were open when I looked at that 11. But Jurriën Timber will start at
he
center
won't
back.
start today, but eventually, it's Gravenberch. It's like Thanos. Gravenberch is inevitable. Okay, so no, seriously, I do reckon he's the future of the Netherlands. So we got the under-21s of the Euros wrapped up. Do we really need to go to the next topic? The under-21.
Well, how about this? I'll pause it. I'll pause it for 1 second, because I do want to say one of the other really, really amazing things of those opener games, which, by the way, have been pretty amazing, pretty great to watch. I got to say, aside from the sleeper that was Wales, Switzerland, kind of fell asleep a couple times. I got to say that Belgian team, I am the guy that said Belgium was going to get hurt by KDB's absence. Lukaku, man. I mean, you're talking about inevitable. Lukaku's inevitable.
Different breed, man.
My God, it is. He has taken a step up, and I think it's, you and I don't necessarily get to watch as much Serie A as we would probably like, and there's also not enough time in the day necessarily to the amount of football we watch. But he has been something else since he's joined Inter, and I don't know why any of us would have even thought that there would be a lack of service for him or a lack of difference making for him. And he just basically said, like Russia on his shoulder, just brushed him off. And I gotta say, an amazing moment to see him run over to that camera and say, we love you, Christian.
Oh,
yeah, we love you, Chris. So that was freaking awesome. So,
but Lukaku is shining even without Conte, though, because Conte played to Lukaku's strengths, and now in the World Cup, this is the testament that he is really world class.
Yeah.
Lukaku is really world class. Lukaku is the type of player a center back looks at the team sheet and says,
"Yeah,
it's gonna be a long night for me.
I'm gonna hurt after this game." Yeah,
it won't be easy. So,
is he your Golden Boot favorite now? I mean, we haven't seen Mbappe play yet, but
I think Mbappe is gonna go off in these Euros. I think Mbappe is my Golden Boot pick.
Yeah,
but Lukaku will be up there too.
Yeah, I'll just say to be different that I pick Lukaku, but I'll tell you what, they've got other issues now that they have to deal with. We've talked about how Belgium might have a little bit of trouble with kind of defensive frailties, older defense, that sort of thing. And they lost Timothy Castagna, which I believe the way that they play is tough. Obviously, Thomas Meunier came in and did a wonderful job. I believe he scored a goal. Yeah. So they've plugged the gap for now, but yeah, if De Bruyne needs to miss another game, if Witsel doesn't actually come back, you're dropping like flies when it comes to that defense. But versus Russia, who didn't even look like they wanted to be in their own home stadium, they look just fine. They just wiped them clean.
Agree.
So anyway, we wanted to end on that positive point before we get to a very low for you.
Oh yeah, very low, because I was like preaching that Portugal was gonna win the under-21 tournament, that it was gonna be the first time ever in history that a team would win the under-17, under-19, and the under-21s. But I got to give credit to Germany. Florian Wirtz, I am starting to get in. He was in my top 5. Was it under 20? No, under 20 players that we did at the start. And Florian Wirtz is understandably one of the best talents coming up. And I just wanted to say, Germany won the under 21 tournament in 2009 with Ozil in 2017 with Gnabry, and now in 2021 with Florian Wirtz. So it's the passing on the torch of a superstars. They're coming up in this Germany system.
And before I ask you what went wrong with Portugal, I got to say some things about Germany too. This is a team that 9 months ago during qualifying they got beat hard by Belgium. Okay, 4-1 I think it was, and I believe the coach afterwards, Stefan Kuntz, came out and he basically said, this is a weak age group. These are not my guys. This is not that good, Okay, and that's not word for word, so don't quote me on that. But he basically said that it's very unlikely that they have the quality to win the Euros, let alone qualify for it. Now that could have been a motivational tactic, right? Because they kicked on from there, and you have to look across that roster and across that 11. And you see Nico Schlotterbeck, who had a monstrous game against Portugal. I think he had 8 clearances. He was pretty much all over the place. I mean, him and Amos Pieper, I don't know how to say his last name. They were pretty good throughout the knockout rounds, and they formed a really good center back. They kind of knew what was going on with each other. And then you've got their kind of talisman in the middle, beyond Beards, was Nicholas Dorsch.
Okay.
This is a Bayern cast-off. Okay, he did not, impress at Bayern. He then went, I believe, to Heidenheim, who is now they're in the Bundesliga, but they weren't in the Bundesliga when he was there. And then he just moved over to Ghent, who had a pretty bad year in the Belgian league. But these are all guys that absolutely should take the next step up. Nothing against Freiburg, where Schlotterbeck plays. Nothing against Ghent, where Dorsch plays. But these are guys that you see something there in a team setup. These guys could really take that next step up, and I think they will after this tournament. But Dorsch, in my opinion, was probably I don't think he was actually voted best player of the entire tournament. I could be wrong.
That was no. The best player of the tournament was Fabio Vieira.
Right, Fabio Vieira. But I think Dorsch would have been an easy second place. He's been very good for them.
The man of the match against Portugal, and I gotta say it, I was triggered because Abdou Conte couldn't stop Baku.
No,
this right back is but you warned me. Yeah. You warned not me. You warned us, everyone that's listening on the podcast before the tournament even started, that this Baku is a threat, and she was lethal. I think he has the most assists in the competition, and man of the match against Portugal. What a player! Another player I like to highlight was Diogo Costa. Portugal didn't win, but Diogo Costa made sure we didn't win by 3 or 4. He saved so many balls. Diogo Costa, what a hero. If you're listening to this, you're a hero. And I'd like to highlight too Fabio Vieira. Yeah. Fabio Vieira and Vitinha, obviously, too. But I'm gonna talk about Vitinha in the next topic. But Fabio Vieira. So right now he's in he's gonna enter his last year of contract at Porto. And we need to see the situation as it is. So this summer, we might see Fabio Vieira leaving Porto. Because or he extends his contract or he leaves. And another player leaving for 10-15 million with this amount of quality, UEFA Youth League winner at Porto, that shows a problem. That is a problem. Porto needs to know how to use these youngsters at Olival. Tomás Teves. I want to see Tomás Teves next season playing at Porto. I don't know. I think he can do it. I watched some games at Reading. But Fabio Vieira, what's going to happen? I think the Bundesliga would be a really good league for him. Even the Prem, maybe. Wolves.
Okay.
It's not crazy. Ajax. He's that type of player. Technically gifted. Really good roaming. He can be everywhere. He can go on the wing. He's a bit like Foden in that type of sense. He's very, very good. Wow. And I'd like to highlight too Arne Meyer, the midfielder. He got 100% pass accuracy against Portugal. Important passes were made during that game. and I think he's a Armenia B field player.
That's,
So underrated. He's off the radar for a lot of clubs, I think. So watch out. He's good. He's good.
Right, but speaking about off the radar, that is something we got to bring up here. In that German lineup, there was not a Bayern Munich player. There was not a Dortmund player. There was not a Red Bull Leipzig player. You had your most high-profile players were probably Wirtz, right, at Leverkusen, and Baku at Wolfsburg, who had a phenomenal, just an amazing year. So that just goes to show you that these there's a team sense there that it goes beyond. I don't know.
We could have seen Nunmenj there, João Felix there, Jamal Musiala there, Youssoufa Moukoko there. So the amount of talent we still could have seen in this tournament. We live in a special generation now. These players are studs at such a young age. I forgot to mention this in the Euros section, but I can mention it here. Diogo Dalot being called up to the first team. Big blow, João Cancelo not being in Portugal's lineup anymore. But Diogo Dalot, I'm not gonna say he's the same level because he isn't right now. But is he a player that I think Portugal would see in 5 years' time in the selection? Yes. Do I think he's going to mature with this experience? Yes. So I think Ricardo Pereira, I don't know how he's right now coming back from injury, how he's feeling. But if Ricardo Pereira was fully fit, I think he should have got the pick. Yeah. But if he was doubtful, good pick with Diogo Dalot. I would pick Diogo Dalot ahead of Cedric too. Yeah, I would have picked him.
Something I just have to bring up here. From João Cancelo to Dejan Kulusevski to Matthias Svanberg to Sergio Busquets, we are still talking about COVID now. I mean, the fact of the matter is that they didn't mandate essentially vaccinations heading into this tournament, and you've just got some real talent either heading home for the tournament or we're waiting on further news about whether Dejan can actually play, but he's going to miss the first game. He will miss
the Portuguese team was vaccinated. Like I think some teams are vaccinating the teams.
Yeah, and also with the Spanish team after the Busquets, right? They had that like satellite parallel 11 that was in another bubble, and then they had the army come in to vaccinate them. But you remember what it was like to get vaccinated, right? I mean,
true. Yeah.
You don't feel the same right away. It takes a little while, so it's going to be interesting to see how it affects. But it just sucks that we're even still talking about it for this, and that we're going to miss out on a Cancelo who was phenomenal. I mean,
fantastic goal against Israel. What a goal! So yeah, that's the under-21 tournament wrapped up. It was a fantastic tournament. Like even with the Portuguese loss, you can hear it in my voice. So. We're going to go to a happy topic, especially for you.
Yes.
Not for the Mexican people listening. So I think you get what's going to happen now. We're going to talk about the match from the U.S. against Mexico.
Yeah, CONCACAF Nations League.
Oh, entertaining.
The rivalry is back, baby. I love it. I love it. Okay, there are a lot of things I actually don't like about what happened in that game.
Okay.
It was like 2 hours and 40 minutes in length, 2 hours and 50 minutes in length, because there were projectiles thrown on the field. There were discriminatory chants that the Mexican fans have been using for years, but ultimately in this day and age, it's just not acceptable. So there was a 5-minute stoppage for that. There were penalty kicks. There were, amazing narratives all the way across. So there were a lot of negatives with a lot of positives, but in the end, the rivalry is back. After 5, 6, 7 years of basically Mexico kicking the crap out of us. It is really, really good to see it back all across the board. Just there was banter. There was, like Weston McKennie getting his neck grabbed by somebody, him, with his wand celebration, Christian Pulisic showing everyone he can actually finish a penalty kick. a full stadium, full beers thrown from the stadium. I mean, there was just so much verve and excitement to that game that I think it brought a lot of people back into the fold after
Hmm.
obviously what happened in the World Cup, or I'm sorry, what didn't happen in the World Cup. And it might show that this is that COVID advantage, actually, that
Mm.
extra 6 months, 5 months, 4 months that they had to push back this final. You had guys like Adams performing for Leipzig. You had guys like McKennie scoring
Yes.
goals for Juventus and Pulisic getting healthy.
Gio
But
Reyna.
Gio Reyna, I mean, he just, as an 18-year-old in a U.S. Mexico
Oh,
final,
I love them. I
it's,
love them. He was so mature. He was
yeah.
so mature. And I like that you mentioned too McKennie. I
Mhm.
think McKennie is the glue of this team.
I
The
agree.
spirit, the way he plays, he's vital. And Tyler Adams,
Love seeing him.
oh my gosh, the
Yeah.
US, you got studs now. Now
Yeah.
I can, it's official. The US have studs. Pulisic, McKennie, Tyler Adams, Gio Reyna. All of
Yeah.
them studs.
Well, I gotta say something. I'm gonna rehash this because you and I, we've known each other a little while now, and we've often been back and forth about this. And I did say something a while back that
Mm.
it wasn't via phone, so I couldn't exactly hear
Mm-hmm.
the what the hell are you talking about in your voice. But I did say to you that Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams were going to be the two most important,
Oh
likely,
yeah.
for the future of the United States men's
Oh,
national team
oh
moving
no.
forward, more so than Christian Pulisic. I am not
Yes.
saying Christian Pulisic is not important because absolutely he is. But that Adams and McKennie as that glue. Um,
This is a fact. You told me
uh,
Tyler Adams was gonna be a more important player in the
yeah.
future
Uh,
than Pulisic.
he's going to be crucial for us in qualifying. So it was good to see him back
Mm-hmm.
from he's been nursing that back injury, and they brought him into camp.
But
Everyone was hopeful he was going to play, but they didn't expect him to actually play a role in extra time. But I got to walk through kind of
sorry.
some of the narratives. I won't go chronologically, but this was a game that started off in the worst possible way for the Americans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mark McKenzie, who's near and dear to my heart as a Philadelphia Union Academy graduate, makes the move to Genk, actually starts a lot for Genk, wins a cup.
Mm-hmm.
And he then, because Aaron Long busted his ACL, Chris Richards, who I also love for the future,
What a play.
Hoffenheim center back, Bayern bred, FC Dallas Bayern bred, Hoffenheim raised, if
Present.
you will. Yeah, and we had a little thinness at the back, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately you needed Mark McKenzie to step up, and in the first minute, unfortunately, he plays an errant pass, trying to play out of the back. Boom, goal, right? Roofed
Yeah.
over Zach Steffen's head. 1-0 in like the first couple minutes, and boom, we're like, this is gonna be a couple years all over again. And then they get that goal, a Weston McKennie who somehow rises above.
It's the life.
I don't get it. I don't get the kid. The kid is listed as 6 foot, but he jumps as if he's 6'6",
It's
6'7".
the Ronaldo effect with him.
It's
with
unbelievable,
the
man.
jump.
Yeah, and Gio was there at the right place, right time, caromed
But
off the post in, and
but
then
we need
game on.
to. We need. We're talking a lot about the U.S. talent, and I feel like we need to highlight Diego Lainez.
Absolutely.
And I want to say he shouldn't have gone to Real Betis. He should have gone to an Eredivisie first. A team like Ajax would have been
Absolutely.
such a good fit. I even think that Lainez, it wouldn't be such a big deal for me if he would come as a Sancho. I think if he were to come, Dortmund would get two players. Lainez as a risk, and a more Julian Brandt type player as a safeguard, a safe option, let's say. But Diego Lainez, like, I really think there's a rivalry there.
I mean,
Like,
pound for pound, he's not a big guy, and the skill he has,
and
he has
he's
in that body.
powerful. He is. You can't put him down. Like,
Yeah.
he's the dribble, extremely fast, really good in terms of pace, physically, and the notion. That's what impressed me. The cut inside and the notion when to speed up. Like, he's really the awareness. He's got very good awareness.
I'm
So
100%. I'm 100% with you. He needs to find a place to go where he can play day in, day out.
I
And
agree. I agree. Porto or Sporting would be a good fit too. I know the Portuguese narrative, blah blah blah, but if Sporting don't get Marcus Edwards, Lainez would be an interesting option. Or even Leeds, like with Bielsa. Rafinha is there. I could see Lainez doing a Rafinha type of tactics. I don't know. I could be going off here.
Yeah, I think Rafinha at least has a little volume to his body. Lainez might get clattered. But yeah, Bettis is not the right choice, and he needs to move on. And Irving Lozano was in a Chucky Lozano was in a relatively similar situation, and he finally found what he needed. Finally broke through at Napoli, and he's been doing pretty well there. So, but yeah, Lainez is one that I know we're going to see over qualifying again. I don't know if he's going to be in a starting 11 because Mexico does have a pretty strong 11. They're just not playing that well together. But if there's somebody that's going to bring them together again, it's going to be Tata Martino. This isn't over. And but this was the big bragging rights. The new CONCACAF Nations League final, and it did all the games, the semifinal games, and the final game. Brought us back and actually provided us a really nice proxy for what World Cup qualifying is like in our region.
As a European, I'm excited now to watch the US play against Mexico. That's an added match that I'm gonna put on my watch list.
Yeah, well, just wait until they play in Estadio Azteca. If we can somehow beat Mexico in Azteca, ooh, I will be a happy person. But I
can feel the rage in Mexico right now just by you saying that.
I know, but there were other moments there, and we also got to spotlight a guy that's not he's a wonder kid in goalkeeper years. So Zach Steffen had to go out. I think it was a groin or a hammy. Something went late in the game, and Ethan Horvath. Who was he's a cast-off at Club Bruges. Actually was a starter, made a couple mistakes, and then they signed Mignolet, and he got kind of relegated to the sideline and barely played this year, even though they won the title.
Talk about a good cast-off.
Yeah, seriously. And he comes in and he makes a couple brilliant saves in extra time. Then there's the Christian Pulisic penalty kick goal pretty late on in the second half of extra time.
The save.
And then Andres Guardado gets a penalty kick on a Mark McKenzie handball, and he gets the chance to tie it up and send it into penalties. And Ethan Horvath stones him. It was great.
I love it. I love how passionate you are, and that's what it is. This is football, and I'm so excited. American fans now, they're happy. They're happy. This is history. We are watching history happening in the States.
Yeah, well, it's a rivalry brought back to life, and it's going to be exciting moving forward. But I can't say enough about Weston McKennie. Timothy Weah, when he came on, was great. And there was a friendly played the other day where we just brushed aside a Costa Rican team that normally gives us some trouble. And we used, Brendan Aronson, who's been great. That's another guy you're going to have to watch moving forward. Daryl Dike, get Chris Richards back in the fold, actually play Yunus Musa. This is a team that had an average age of 24.
Caden Clark,
yeah, well, we got to first call him up, but yeah, there's a lot more to watch, and we'll be watching it. But
he's coming.
I could go on and on about this. I just think if you're not paying attention on the other side of the pond, do so, because Mexico does have some youngsters as well, and we can highlight them in the future. But Canada right now with Jonathan Alphonso Davies, and the U.S. moving forward, man, it's going to be...
Football is becoming more and more global.
It is.
And it's fantastic to watch. So let's go to the next topic. It's always a great success, let's say, and it's the transfer talks. And going on with the U.S. narrative, I'm dying to ask you this question, and it is, where do you think Tyler Adams should go? Because With McKennie, I think McKennie's talent we've seen. I don't want to say we've seen his ceiling, but I think we've seen a lot with McKennie. And with Tyler Adams, I think there's still a lot more to improve. And I do see the growth that can happen.
Mhm.
So where do you think would be the best club for Tyler Adams to go
Yeah.
next?
Yeah. Well, I don't think he should leave. I think
Mm.
he's in a very, very good situation. You have an American coach coming in, Jesse Marsh. You have someone who has coached him coming
Mm-hmm.
in. And you have somebody that played a very attractive style of football at Salzburg, and will likely get the chance to do the same there. And he, I think, very much sees him, hopefully, as a six, instead of as kind of a right back, slot in utility man, the way Nagelsmann did
Mm.
with him. So I really do think he
You think
should
he should
stay.
stay?
But I do know that there have been reports surfacing, and relatively credible reports surfacing
That's
about
why.
Arsenal's interest in him. But frankly, if I'm Arsenal, if you're looking at a right back, okay, and I do know they
Mm.
want the versatility too. I
That's
I, I don't
kind of
think I don't think you should look any further than Baku.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Baku's a safe pick. If Bellerin's leaving, Arsenal. If we make an Arsenal rebuild, Baku would be a perfect fit at right back. I'm with you. I'm with you. And I wanted to say, going with Arsenal, Emil Buendia went to Aston Villa, and it was reportedly said that he snubbed Arsenal.
Oof.
And if that's the case, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
They had the chance of getting Buendia last season, I think.
Mhm.
So I don't think the agents are very happy. I'm speculating here. But if Aston Villa, if they're keeping Grealish,
Oh.
Buendia that's a good duo. That's a dynamic
I
duo.
mean, Ollie Watkins has got to be
Oh,
sitting at home, I guess now, right? Sitting at home, going, man, thank God, this
and
is amazing.
plus Mings. Mings is there. And I
Yeah.
could see them signing another midfielder. I'm seeing a lot of midfielder names going to the Prem. You got Tyler Adams, you said to Arsenal, and
Yeah.
now going to Matheus Nunes to Everton with Nunes Spirit Sent. Matheus Nunes, what should Everton fans expect with him? Well, I can say that he's a very similar type of player to Tom Davis. He's the type of player that you're in trouble, you give him the ball, he conducts the ball to the other half. Very good on pressure, always a reliable option, and he works non-stop. He's the type of player that goes up and down non-stop. So that's what I think Nunes Spirit wants him because of the pressure in the Premier League, and he wants a midfielder to always be pressurizing other teams. So I think it's a good buy. If it's 20 million, it's a good buy. 25, 30, I think Sporting's stretching it. It's a good deal for Sporting. But 20 million, I think it's a good deal for both sides.
Now, if Espirito Santo is going to Everton, we know that it took several years for him to basically transform Wolves into the Portugal U21-23 team. Who else are you going to bring in at Everton that might fit there, if that's the case?
Well, if going through this narrative of Portuguese players, I think it would be interesting getting a Trincão on loan.
Mm.
This is me thinking quickly, okay? This is not me putting deep thoughts into where Everton rebuild, but I think Everton, they got Ben Godfrey at center back. Ancelotti. You see, that's what I think Ancelotti did at Everton. He created such a good core. You know, it became a solid, stable team in every front. You know, and
he also got the most out of players. Right?
I do think they're gonna dip. I don't think Nunes Spirit I hate being the person that goes. I don't think Paulo Fonseca nor Nunes Spirit will go well in the Prem. I think Bruno Lage will succeed in the Prem because Bruno Lage. We would just go on to this topic. Bruno Lage has has Vitinha, has an asset like Fabio Silva. People are sleeping on Fabio Silva now. And I'm going to remind you, He scored 4 goals. He's 18. He's bulking up. You can see him. I like. Look, I watch his Insta stories, and you can see his back. He's doing some pull-ups. The guy's getting a proper back. So he's becoming.
And I heard his personal trainer is Goretzka on loan. Is that correct?
So, I could see, just like João Felix had a huge rise up in his price with Bruno Lage, also Florentino, Olsen, Jetson, all their stocks risen with Bruno Lage. I can see it happening with Pedro Neto, Vitinha, and Fabio Silva, doubling price, to say the least. And just in the Under-21 European Championship, Vitinha doubled the price. 17.5, 30 million for the amount of talent I saw there. Look, it's acceptable in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of options. And I'm, again, Tottenham, what are you doing? Like, are we... No, this is... I want to say this. Like, Tottenham lose... No, they don't lose. They fire Mourinho. Okay. Which was very dubious before a cup final, which is Mourinho's speciality, if you were
which
to
he
ask
counts
me.
as a half victory, right?
Come on, like Mourinho, he's gonna brag about that. Like, you sacked me before a cup final. You don't know I'm the special. I'm joking, but this showed, in my opinion, that Tottenham are thinking about the money. They're not thinking about success, and because if they were thinking about success, Conte will have the paper signed.
Yeah.
And they know Harry Kane's leaving. Paul Fonseca did an amazing job in a kind of rebuild with Roma, playing good football. Roma plays good football. I'm not going to say that Tottenham are going to play bad football and they're going to look horrible. They won't. But are they going to surpass Man City, Man United, Chelsea, and Liverpool? No chance. No chance. Tottenham is going to be top 4 next season. Like, no chance. Because we're going to see maybe Chelsea getting Haaland. I think Chelsea's going to get Haaland. And the reason why I think Chelsea's going to get Haaland, it's simple. Roman Abramovich must be all over the moon right now. He won, again, firing a coach, the Champions League. First, he won it with Di Matteo. Now with Thomas Tuchel. He must be thinking, I am going to get a striker for this team because they deserve it. And Haaland, he doesn't mind. It's 10 years. It won't be 10 years because Kyle will push a move before. But Haaland and Hakimi, if these two players come to Chelsea, the Prem is going to be bonkers next season.
Yeah. What do the kids say? It's going to be lit. I mean, it's
Lit.
it is. I think that's been phased out. Actually, I just showed my age. But yeah, I mean, it is an instance if your fire sale, if you've got a fire sale for what, 13, 14 players they're looking to offload this season, right? You have a war chest to begin with. Yeah, I mean,
They
going
also
after
Conor Gallagher, right?
What was that?
Conor Gallagher, the Chelsea.
Oh yeah, Conor Gallagher should. I mean, he was up there in a couple stat categories, at least from a U23 perspective last year in the Premier League. But it is an instance of if you can get him, get him. Worry about tactics later. If you can get a Haaland, if you can get a Hakimi, I get it. Reece James is phenomenal. I love it. You can also, we know he can play in the center back setup or at least be trained to do so.
Exactly.
But if you can get a Hakimi, you get him. And if you can get him at a decent price, you definitely go for that too. I mean, James is only what, 20? So you need competition. You do need the competition, and you're gonna have hell of a lot of competition. I mean, these guys play 60 fixtures a year, especially if they're in the Champions League.
Oh, yeah.
I get it. I get it.
Tuchel with Hakimi is scary, if you were to ask me, because you saw what happened with Reece James with Tuchel. Like the improvement that the fullbacks had with Thomas Tuchel was to say that it was very seen, you know. So if Hakimi goes there, Inter of maybe selling Hakimi, maybe Lukaku. I think after Chelsea, because this is the transfers roundup, the last topic, I think if Chelsea get Haaland, then City are pressurized into getting Harry Kane. Because Sancho, I think, is going to United. So these are the 3 domino effect I think might happen. Kane to City, Sancho to United, and Haaland to Chelsea. Liverpool. What's Liverpool gonna do? Like they need a new Gini Wijnaldum replacement. And PSG getting Donnarumma and Wijnaldum?
But not Hakimi.
Not Hakimi though. Like it's like, and he is the type of player that he will cause a difference. Like the team he goes, I don't know, but if I were Hakimi, I'd go to the Prem. He wins in every aspect. Yes, he'll win the league probably at PSG, but come on, look at the challenge that it is going up against a Pep Guardiola with City, a club. Who'd you? I saw that the midfielder role at going back to that with Liverpool. Do you have any player you have in mind for that position?
Ooh, off the top of my head, no, I don't. I gotta think about that one.
Gravenberch would be.
It would, but I don't think he's for sale yet. Everybody's always for sale, right? It depends on what they'd be willing to offload for him. But I'm just trying to think within the actual system, if you got anybody. You obviously know you're going to want to play Curtis Jones a whole lot more next year, but that's a completely different
He should play. He should play. He's deserved it. Just like Foden had the stepping stones, the moments in which we say, oh, he's improved. Oh, he's improved. Curtis Jones, we can say we've been watching him improve slowly but steady. Another very overlooked talent, if you were to ask me. But it's the Prem now. Like, Svet Bodman, too. I saw that he might go to the Prem. But Atalanta is trying to snatch him up. Romero, good center back. He might leave, too. So, a lot of options.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of options. And due to COVID, there are a lot of teams that used to not necessarily be willing to sell that are most certainly willing to sell. And a guy like Romero does kind of make a little sense. But Romero's got a test. I want to see him. Copa America starts today, and I want to see him be able to lead that back line because I think I've said this before. He's an absolute key to their future and to their World Cup prospects as Messi gets a little bit older. And also, I can't wait to see Buendia in the Copa America, see what he can do for Argentina.
I agree.
But ultimately, when it comes down to it, from a Wijnaldum, you know what? That's homework. Episode 9.
Exactly. I was gonna say that. Like, we're here at the end right now.
Yeah.
If you're still here with us, thank you so much for the support. Like all the comments on TikTok, we try to answer all of them. Like the community, I am so happy about. Like I'm so grateful of the growth, everything that's happening. Like I'm so happy about it. Thank you guys. 10K on YouTube, TikTok booming. And yeah, if you could like the video and like our other videos, please, that'd be a huge help. If you want to help out, that's how you can help out. Subscribing, liking all our videos, and yeah, commenting, because I'll answer your comments. Like, we'll make sure we answer all of them.
And look, I mean, I don't think we have an Easter egg or anything, but there will be developments in the future. We do plan on doing other things, but we really do appreciate everybody, even those that are mildly negative about what we do. Just fuels us and makes us a little more fired up. But as you can tell, Alex gets a whole lot more fired up than I do about things.
God, he gets the youth.
Me happy is like this, and me sad is like this. Sorry, But we're really excited about the future, and yeah, keep talking to us. We try and obviously get to as many comments as possible.
So it's wrapped up. Thank you for listening to us. Episode 8 wrapped up. See you next week, guys.
So long.